Thank God for the French army. And that was said by Winston Churchill in the Houses of Parliament on the 23rd of March, 1933. So a lot of people have chastised me for not casting more of the Warno League games. There were 3 divisions in the Warno League, lots of participants. I sadly don't have time to participate in these things anymore, given my utterly bizarre schedule. But this is game 5 of 5 of a best of 5 of the Division 3 Grand Finals, and nobody cast it, and it was a final. The guys in the lower divisions, sadly, it's slim pickings for them because the casters prefer to cast Division 1, right? Because that's where the best players are. That's where the known names are. Like, I've never heard of either of these 2 people, but there you go. So I figured I'd cast game 5 of 5. You know, whoever wins this wins the tournament, and it went to a 5th game, so it must be 2 relatively evenly matched players for that to happen. So yeah, we're on Black Forest Duel, and it's 4th mock shots, in which you don't see a lot, up against 24th 7 Mech. And it's a Golden Panzer 30 versus Slovak Jebem T Majku Kravavo. 1 second, let me just type that into the speech engine. I can't speak Slovakian, unsurprisingly. Krvavo.
Jebem ti Majku krvavo.
So there you go, that's his name. I'm just going to be calling him Jebem from now on. I don't know what it is with Slovaks, man, but anyway. Where's free Duro SVK. Never forget. Never forget that Duro SVK got banned for having a dumb name. He wasn't called Duro SVK at the time, and flaming everybody. This guy, of course, very different. Of course, lots of people in Slovakia have different thoughts and feelings. You know, I always wondered why it wasn't called Slovako-Czechia, because I used to play Arma 3 with a bunch of Czechs, and honestly, I can understand why the Slovaks got their own country, truly. Anyway, deployment. So Jebem here going 2 on the left, FS Jaeger going to Charlie, behind that FS SPG-9 going to Alpha, is going to there. It's a pretty good spot for it. Problem with putting it in the churches, because it's only got like 1500 range, can't actually shoot that far, so you sort of need it out here, even though the church lets you see further, because religious people can see further than atheists, if you don't know already, if you're not a hippie fanatic. So do you see how far the church sees, and do you see how far this atheistic dwelling sees? That's right, religious people can see further than atheists. And then 3 FS Jaeger Metis. One's going to here, which is interesting because you don't really get a good chance to use that ATGM, I guess, if somebody's coming down that road, maybe. And then 2 going to here, 1 to defend the entrance and 1 just a little ways off. Behind that, 2 Pro Tank 76s, as they are affectionately named. 1 going up here, 1 going to there. And behind that, we've got 3 Iglas. 1 going to the Charlie push, 1 going to the right Charlie thing, and 1 going to... Please tell me that's going to the church and not the atheistic dwelling next door. We'll check in on that. And then 2 Strela 10Ms, also going to Charlie. So he really cares about planes. Very fearful of planes. On the right, smaller force, comparatively. SPG-9 and Metis both going to the same house. Generally not a good idea to do that, because the plane will come and kill you. 2 Pro Tank 76s for the recon and also the shooty, I suppose. They're quite cheap, so it's easy to cover the whole map in these cheap units, you know, from left to right, get your picket line up. CV for Echo Foxtrot, presumably, although he's not passed it into Foxtrot, and then 2 more AA, so really cares about planes, this guy. And no CV for the left. Switching to Golden Panzer's deployment. M150s, these are sort of the Americans' picket line thing, right? So they're 5 points more than the Proton 76, but they got 50 cal, they got a gun, they got better stealth. And yeah, so 1's going over to here to guard the far left, 1's going over to here. That's quite aggressive, but it can be done. And Scout's going to here. And then, yeah, so for the left side push, he's got MP Patrol with M67s. These guys are pretty good, but you got to keep a supply with them because they run out of rounds so fast. And and he's got 3 of them. One there, one there, one there. There. Hang on. What? Okay, so 2 there, 1 there. Okay. Fireteam Bradley in the cheaper Bradley, the National Guard Bradley, I think, going to there. National Guard M1 Abrams going to the far left. Sort of chilling out, I guess. Pivads for the Abrams, okay. And then CV for Delta Bravo. Right side push. Oh, we've got 2 unpassed tow cobras here, so I don't know which way they'll be going. Right side push, 3 aero rifles, presumably backed up by cobras. So Yabem, really good idea from him to bring lots of AA. And you don't see 4th a lot, so I'm going to be casting from this perspective, and we will start the game. So I'd like to take this time to thank the generous channel joiners, of which there are many. They get the videos early. 1 channel join at the lowest level is worth 2,000 views, just because of the way YouTube ad revenue works. And I'd like to thank them a lot for that, and that gives me the opportunity to cast games like this, which I wouldn't usually cast, because simply because, you know, people want to see high-level stuff, right? But because I'm being funded by something other than I need to get views, I can go for games like this, which I personally find very interesting, but might not perform so well, given that, full disclosure, this is the old patch. So please stay. Where are you going? I will see a big drop in my viewer retention if if that mattered a lot. But yeah, because I'm funded by more than just ad revenue, I can cover sometimes older games, more interesting games. And yeah, this F4 not really being used for anything. I mean, the enemy did not bring any helicopters or planes, so it's not going to do anything except perhaps a strafing run. I guess he was expecting planes to come kill these, but it's more of a ground-based defense, quite a defensive deployment as well. So blue, golden, definitely going to get there first, and Yebem is just going to have to get there second. As for the CV game, Yebem not pathing his guy in here, just sort of sitting pretty, and he could have taken Foxtrot by now, so particularly on Black Forest with these +1s, you really got to pay attention to that. I thought we were about to see first blood there, maybe this guy's going to go down. Who will die first? This Igla's firing. No, still no deaths. Still no deaths. And the CV still left back here. Still even the CV back here. And Golden could do with being a bit more forwards in his zone. Maybe a bit more AA from Golden. You hate to see it, man. I just can't get over this. He could have had that +1 and then been halfway on his way to Alpha by now. But I guess this guy's going to go to Alpha, and then, if he wins here, redirect to Charlie. It's a bit odd to see... okay, so here's the follow-up. They're just a bit behind, so 2 engineers dragging in a CV. Because, yeah, these aero rifles, not fantastic. You know, their AT is not great. The M240 Bravo, I believe, is just a standard... You know, all... There's 2 types of MMGs. There's 2 types of infantry MGs, the magazine-fed ones and the belt-fed ones, as it were. And to my knowledge, right now, the magazine-fed ones are better. At least they were in this patch. I think in the new patch they're still better, but maybe I'm wrong. And there's also 2 calibers, 7.62 and 5.56, and to my knowledge, the 7.62 is just better. So, because all magazine-fed MGs are the same, unless the caliber's different, that means that the best LMG in the game is the Bren, the NATO Bren. So it's a Bren chambered in NATO rounds because it's 7.62 and it's magazine fed, so it's better, which obviously doesn't make too much sense. Actually, yeah, it does, because it was made in the UK, and so it's actually better than whatever you brought. But yeah, this is quite a slow game, and that's something you do see in... I mean, can this be described as lower-level gameplay? I mean, it's Division 3, and it's the Grand Final, so these guys, to my knowledge, will be promoted to Division 2. I am in Division 2. For those of you who, you know, have joined recently, and by recently I mean within the last... within the last year... I was in Division 1, and I got I got an interesting group with an unnamed individual that nobody had ever heard of before, called T-Man Plays, and I lost all my games and I got demoted. So that's that really. So, but I missed this current one because of my predicaments. So you see Tokobra go down to the Igloo, and Golden, he needs to get the second one out of there, otherwise the same thing's going to happen. And indeed he does, but losing a Tokobra for an FS Jäger Metis, not a great trade for Golden. See Yebem moving up to, he's going to get these guys in here. I do wonder if they can actually see all these. Interesting dispersion of forces to just buy 4 MP Patrol M67s. Would love to see a Stinger mixed in here, because 4th does have that capacity, something we haven't seen yet. The way 4th was played back in the day, so like 5 months ago, was you would use the FS Jäger to make some sort of picket line, trade, just play for trades, and then at about 10 minutes into the game, you just chuck 8 helicopters at your opponent. Helicopters, of course, have been nerfed quite a bit now. I don't see that T-55 beating that Abrams. The M150 does go down to the SPG-9s. Abrams? Question mark? Loses vision, I guess. Now we see some artillery purchased. It's just something about Black Forest, man. Games take a long time. And looks like somebody died in their transports here, so even though nothing's happening, I'm still missing things. But yeah, Yabem building up for a pretty big push here. And we'll see where that takes him. No artillery for Yebem. Like a mortar can be very good in a push, very useful in a push. This guy probably going to have a really bad time because the reason these guys are where they are is because they've got a 1400 meter range M67 recoilless rifle, which can shoot at infantry. The accuracy is terrible, but you get 6 rounds, and each one that hits is going to deal about 1 HE. So these guys are going to start dying, particularly when there's so many people shooting them. Only problem is they run out of ammo quite quickly, as you've seen here. So you need to get some supply, which is what we spoke about at the start. And indeed, some supply is coming. This guy needs to move or he's going to perish. And this Tokobra, yeah, there's just so much AA here. It just can't be used. Don't tell me he's sending it forwards. He is. What's that shooting at? The T-55s. T-55A used to cost 35 points. And it was OP back when it did, and now it costs 65. So you don't really see it a lot, but because yeah, it's got no smoke. It can't really fight tanks. It's more of an anti-infantry thing. But at that price, why not just buy an IFV with an autocannon? Well, if you're playing 4th, you don't have any autocannons apart from the ones on your helicopters, so you don't have that opportunity. So interesting push here from Yebem. Not a whole lot of infantry, but at these kind of ranges, the superiority of an M1 Abrams over a T-55 doesn't tend to matter so much. More guys just sort of dying here to this as they drive down that road and die. I don't think Gold has noticed yet. And yeah, so, so yeah, you can beat 1 T-55, but can you beat 3 T-55s? That's sort of the question. Of course, harder to micro 3 units than it is to micro 1 unit. So that's the trade-off. And game slows back down a bit now. Seeing the artillery being used, and this is something a lot of people don't do, which they need to get used to doing, is buying a artillery piece and just slowly, methodically shooting people. Particularly capitalizing on the gain, right? So you've succeeded in pushing your enemy out of this house. So now you have to move into that house. And that's how you gain territory. But sadly, not being capitalized upon here. Like, you could get these scouts in here easily. Because he must have seen them leave because of these scouts. As such, Golden just sort of playing Yebem's game here. 4th wants to attack in the forest. It's got so much infantry. And if you lose an M1 Abrams in the forest, big problem. You lose a T-55 due to some forest AT weaponry, really not a big problem. And meanwhile, Blue, Golden, 24th, wants to spam air, I guess, like the Strike Eagle, stuff like that. Things coming down this road, though, they will die. I'm not sure what was in that. Doesn't tell me. Wasn't paying attention. Because, yeah, if you get somebody up to here, you see how far down that road it can shoot. So it's going to get this next. And he needs to do something about that. So having 2 units here is very useful, but I guess that's where these were, but they're not there anymore. Toad 2, nice accuracy, 68%. Probably going to get this guy. Let's zoom in. What's going to happen here? Is he going to stop? Hang on, what? Oh, he's shooting. I can't see him winning this fight with his what was the accuracy on that? Like 40%, 42% accuracy. So yeah, Golden really wants to attack over here. That's where his divisional advantage is. I mean, Fourth does get some tools to deal with that, such as the 100mm repairer. The 39Y one's called a repairer, so I just call them all repairers. It's got the best ground-based ATGM in the game, in my opinion. And it also gets a tank with one of those on too. So these tanks typically you want to use in the open, so that they can take advantage of their 2,800 meter range ATGM. And then you use the T55 AM2 in the close range fights, which is the same, but without the ATGM, and it's significantly cheaper. Sadly, not doing things that way around, and still continuing to just... I got quite lucky there. Although I suppose it hit its last 2. I'll probably hit this one. Yeah. It's just going to keep happening. And here come the T55 M2Bs to... Like, can he even see it? Yeah, I guess he can see it. Okay. Interesting. And they were moving. Oh, 47%. 47% stabilizer, that's fair enough. And the build-up continues. At this point, give him another 3 infantry or something. He could probably just Q move into this, and that looks like that's what the plan is going to be. And Golden not really anticipating this. I mean, he's brought up some people, but not a whole lot. And those helicopters, which would have been very useful if an enemy pushed, because typically, particularly among players with fewer games, they don't tend to move their AA up with their push so great, and the AA has to be a little bit behind anyway. Oh, there is a tow cobra here, so yeah, having this like back here or something can be useful to... he's on the ground, isn't he? Can be useful to pick off the tanks at the front. And this is what I meant about putting you guys in the same building. Used to be that the damage would prioritize one unit instead of fighting both. But you see there that that guy lost 2 HP and the other guy lost 2 HP, but only has 2 HP, so died. So that doesn't happen anymore, which is good. I'm waiting for this big A-click, man. When's that going to happen? There's got to be some A-click around here. Or, well, I call it a Q-click because my attack moves on Q. I don't know, is your attack move on A? Let me know in the comments. And yeah, Dragon here, not very useful because of the minimum range of the ATGM. You really want a rocket launcher guy there. Would actually be more useful down here. Yeah, interesting to see Yebem choose not to cover this. Are we seeing an A-click? Right, so he knows this building's empty because he kicked him out. And yeah, there's no Conkers here either. So the Metis has that range, and it will kill that Bradley in one hit, I think. 17 pen versus 3 front armor, easily. It will have more of a problem against the meat. No recon? No, hang on, there are scouts there. Take it all back. And yeah, Yebem not moving his people, so we'll continue to lose them. Getting good utility out of this one mortar, one howitzer even. It doesn't even have to move it because there's no counter battery. And here we go, the helicopters, as I spoke about. So what's the AA situation here? Okay, so Stinger and Pivads is probably going to be enough to kill both of those. Ah, this is the main problem, but he's going to dive over all that AA and he's going to lose this. There's no way that survives against all those Stingers. It does a surprising amount of damage before dying. I'd love to see that get repaired. And yeah, I guess Golden is going to try and get into the town. A bit of a mistake, really. He needs to go for the open zone. That's where he's got his advantage, although, of course, 24th, being an infantry division as well, tends to prefer this kind of engagement, but it's more of a mechanized jobby with some decent tanks, so yeah. BMP-1 SP-1, very interesting vehicle. Only 25 points for 3 front armor. The gun on it is terrible, but in a big push, because they've got smoke and they've got 3 front armor, actually quite difficult to deal with. And because it's a heat round, right, it will always shoot and it will always deal 1 damage if it hits, I mean. So you see that the tank's sort of getting bullied by by just crap. And, you know, the bombs on this Strike Eagle are probably more expensive than what it just destroyed. This push has sort of petered out a bit. It's a shame. Would love to see Golden attack here while his enemy attacks here. Harder for me to cover, of course, so I'd have to look at it like that. Where's that going? There's that Panzerjäger. Oh, but he does get hit, so we're not going to see him for a while there. That was a 4 HE hit, but he got a crit called Wing Damage, which removed an additional HE. That means that if you get hit by a Buck missile for 9 HP, you can get critted and lose your plane. If you ever wondered why your planes just seem to disappear sometimes, that's usually why. Although the more common approach is to back it up with a Shilka or a Bruiser, and that'll usually deal that 1 damage that you need to just push them over the edge. Here we go, so that fight is happening at the same time as this fight. So I'm just gonna... I guess I have to look at it like this. I do apologise. Actually, this fight's more interesting, so we can look at it like that. I hope you've got a nice big screen and you're not watching this on your mobile phone. And here comes the AA, but the front line isn't there anymore, so he's going to have a bit of a problem, just not enough infantry. And like I said, people struggle to keep their AA moved up here, so this Tokobra's got run-of-the-mill for a little while. Fireteam 84 not going to be in a position to hit these because he's routed from before. And this is 4th at its finest. Usually you'd expect this a bit earlier into the game, but yeah, it's working. And the Tokobra, you know, not really finding targets. Got to be careful of the Strela 10Ms. Those things are deadly. Bit of an over-investment in air here, really, for Golden. It's not going for the blob. That's a shame, but these bombers not perfect anyway. Very small bombs. And he's going to lose them because of all the AA. And yeah, Red just sweeping the board here. CV's down. Basically everybody's dead, right? All the infantry are gone apart from these guys who can't do anything. Not really reacting. 2 National Guard Abrams go down there to, you know, RPG range. Just because of the way this hill works, as you can see, there is a hill there. And so, you know, you can't get your full range up, right? So this guy gets to here, he can get you at quite close range with his RPG. So that push basically over. Looks like Red's taken the town. I mean the forest. Meanwhile, in the town, Golden has managed to get a foothold in here, but he's just he needs his recon with his tanks because he can't see this, and they're just shooting him. And finally, a Conkers gets into the church. Chaparral's dealing with these helicopters. Would love to see some reaction here. He's not reacting. That's just the standard defensive thing. We'll move it back a little bit when it gets shot, but not that much. He's not reacting to that. Too busy focusing on this. But yeah, the T-55A should kill these two, no problem. I mean, it'll miss a lot. Conkers in the church, man. I can't tell you how good that is. Very surprised the artillery wasn't used to hit this. If you want to take this zone, you got to take out that church. Or take the church. But it's easier to take it out. It's even easier to just smoke it, and then you can take it for yourself, but... whatever. And because this push has happened a little bit too late, all of Yebem's reinforcements can go here. Whereas if it had happened at the same time as this, they couldn't have done that. They would have had to have been split, potentially. I mean, he could have still done that, but... and this, you know, it's just the ATGM hell, you just can't get around it. This Phalanga here also drawing attention. And there goes that meat. And Pioneer Flams now, pretty difficult to shift. No flash out. Pioneer Flams, of course, getting the actual flamethrower, as opposed to a napalm thrower. And that's going to be +2 for Yebem. Plane here coming for the Mi-24D will probably get it. Oh no, it doesn't get it. At least on 1 HP. Cub. Oh, yeah. Okay, even if that missed, it was about to fly over all this, and there's like, what, 2 Iglas, 2 Strelas left in there? Maybe even 3 Iglas. No, it's just 2 Iglas. And now Golden forced to send units over here to try and get back in here, but then his push here hasn't worked out, and yeah, what can I say? Yebem doing a great job. now what he needs to do is get this FS down to here so he could shoot things as they come out. Or even a T-55A here would actually be hilarious. They do run out of fuel quite quickly, particularly in the forest. Bradley's going down there, the last vestiges of that push, which has completely petered out. In the open, T-55A should lose to all these units, but manages to take one with him. And yeah, closer ranges, the T-55As really punch above their weight. That's the main advantage of them, so you need to get in close. Interesting choice of units, I gotta say. I prefer the AM2, but maybe... I mean, it is a lot more expensive for not a lot more, so... Maybe I'm wrong. Good to see Golden keeping this firing basically all game. You know, if you buy something, you should use it. And it's really good against these static defenses. Stingers geht zuerst, as Rommel said in his famous book. Stingers geht zuerst. Yeah, stingers go first. If you don't speak German. I speak German. And Strike Eagle gonna fly over all this AA. I mean, it's got high ECM, but okay, it gets out. Don't tell me he's coming back around. Very greedy, very greedy. I think he's gonna pay for this. In fact, it's even attached. I mean, that guy's already dead. So yeah, I think that was more forgetfulness than anything. And you really can't afford to lose these. What happened there? Just sort of disappeared into the void, I suppose. And yeah, now you've just got all these guys running down this bottleneck one at a time. Would love to see a meta squad here, if possible. Or all the SPG-9 here would actually be really useful. T-55A could be moved up. All these low units, yeah, you can leave them to resupply. Panzerjäger, you get them through this forest, right? You just get them to, like, there. Kill all that stuff as it's coming down. Meanwhile, Golden, finally playing to his advantages, has cleared out these static defenses with the artillery, which is great, and now he's going to push into here with his CV. And if he takes that entirely, it will stop the tick. Yeah, it's only a Dragon 1 anyway, not got a very high pen, so it's not going to do a whole lot. Lots of planes for Golden, but he knows there's lots of AA here, and he just keeps sending them. Like, he just lost that Strike Eagle. He should know this isn't a good idea by now. I think he's just panicking a little bit. And indeed, he will fly over the Strellas and the Iglas. Oh, wow. Is he actually going to make it? No, he's not. And yeah, Golden finally playing to his advantages. I think I already said that. Needs a bit more AA here, really. Fourth, famous for its AT planes. Not as egregious as they used to be. There it is. Is this even the right one? Yeah, it is. The SU-20... 22M4K. So, I believe an obsolete plane by the time of this. Yeah, there we go. He's passed on to it. He's passed on to it. By the time of this game's involvement, but it used to come at 4 availability, and I believe, yeah, it's got 30% ECM, so maybe not so obsolete. Okay, he gets drawn off by the smoke. Second one whiffed on that pivads there, but he should, if he evacs, live to fight another day. But he doesn't evac it, so take some additional damage. That didn't really need to happen there. This Ito, oh, shooting across there. Whoa. You don't see that very often, but yeah, okay. He spotted another plane. I guess he's going for that helicopter. No, what is he doing? Just sending it out. Oh yeah, I guess he's scared about another AT plane coming. That was probably for that AT plane. And this conquers. Can he see this? No, he can't. If he had infantry recon in this house, he would be able to see that. If this was there, he'd be able to see that. Although this would probably die, because it's a vehicle. Not got very good stealth. Actually, it's got mediocre stealth. So yeah, he's coming around for that, and he might get it. +1 to Yebem. And he's still sending units here. Like, this is kind of a lost cause. Oh no, it does look like he's changed his mind. It's just, yeah, so these were coming to here, but they're going to auto pass down here. This guy, yeah, flies over the straw 10Ms, and they're going to get a lot of shots off, and they're going to take him out. I wish these did 4 damage, honestly. I don't really think they should do 5. I believe they used to do 4, actually. Plus 2 to Yeba. This meep. Forced to retreat. Forced to retreat. It's not a jeep. I don't know. Yeah. Those 2 guys, that went about as well as you might expect. Those 2 Bradleys with 2 Fireteam Dragons in them. This guy's going to heal back up. It's not looking good for Golden. Although, you know, I do like that he's using the artillery constantly. And I'm surprised that Red not bought a single piece. Kept his helicopters alive, though, for the most part. Needs to heal them up. Can't just leave them sat around like this. I know he lost one over here, didn't he? At the start. But yeah, this is how it's done. Typically, before you lose all your units, you see, oh, he's in that house, and then you bomb it. Probably shouldn't be buying a second one at this point in the game. I mean, he's too far behind in the ground game to be buying 210-point artilleries. Although I suppose this is 190. And Red choosing to just go to the enemy spawn, which, I mean, it's fun, but what you should do is get these guys and drag them across here and take this. Because if you take this, you can take this. But instead he's, I don't know, just chilling out, going down here, ostensibly. I love using that word now. I learnt a new word, ostensibly. And yeah, this is good. It's all queued up. It's all supplied. Gonna have to sell this one. Get those points back. 2-man teams, not very good against 155mm artillery. Toe Cobra went down. Here. Okay, I'm sorry I missed that. Must have been 2 Iglas hit that. And yeah, those SPGs did go down. Lost a Chaparral here, getting a bit sloppy now. Must have died to this thing. Yeah, it's reloading. So yeah, Red, big force superiority in terms of numbers, but happy to just wait. This is really... No. Why? Why? Okay, at least he unloads it. Even so, why is this guy going first, man? Where's his team? I appreciate leading from the front, but this is a bit silly. And finally, he's going for this church. He's lost so many units to this. Helicopters, Conkers, ground-based things from the Conkers. The Smart Shotgun should kill that in a 1v1, particularly with its resolute trait. And these LSWs can be used in houses because they're magazine fed. Particularly if you've got 2 Mi-24Ds helping you out. Bit of the old friendly fire, never hurt anybody. Yeah, the church does go down and he loses 2 Iglas and a Conkers, but yep, there goes the CV. AT plane going for what? And yeah, Golden's got this problem where he's attacking here and there's all these guys here. But yeah, but I'm not really committing them to the fight, sort of leaving them out. He's got this blob back here too. Yeah. Phantom sent out for this, but he needs to stop. He's gonna go over those Strellas again. Oh no, he's flying over the entire enemy, ain't it? You hate to see it. Yeah. And that's going for what? The CV. Does get the CV. Could have got these 2, but I guess he really wanted that CV. Yeah. Golden playing a bit to his strengths again, going for this zone. Imagine if he'd done that at the start and, you know, just sort of left this here as a defense, fine. Get some flash in there, you know. Maybe not so many helicopters. But yeah, he could have taken this at the start, definitely. This guy's getting sold, and the spawn is there, so this is not really accomplishing anything. Sends in another CV ahead of his main forces. don't really agree with the doctrine here. I know he needs to try something, but they should really be focusing that stinger. Can you not see it? I don't think he can see it. Yeah, so he takes 2 hits and dies. Despite his armor, it used to be that if you have armor, you would lose 4 HP instead of 5. Because it would be 5 minus 1. But that just doesn't seem to matter anymore. The armor on the helicopter not doing anything anymore. Takes some free hits there, but gets out. And arrow rifles going up against Motshotson. Where are those Pioneer Flam? I was going to say, when are they getting here? They're on move orders instead of attack move orders, which... probably not right. I mean, so you might say, well, they'll engage at max range with the LMG, but because it's a town, when you see them, you're probably going to be close enough. I don't know. It's not a big deal. Need to unload these guys so they don't all die. Sort of a bit of a half-hearted attempt here. I mean, look at all these other units he could have sent. But it is achieving the desired effect of sort of isolating these guys here. You know, this has the capacity to shoot these guys in the back. Wow. And that's what I'm talking about with the T-55s. Get them into a good place, they can punch above their weight, and if you lose it, no biggie. This is, like, at least twice as expensive. Well, it depends on the model. That was a T-55 AM2. I don't think there's another one on the map. Yeah, there is. So, 105. Okay, so it's not actually that different. It used to be a much better deal. But, sadly, balance... you see lots of blue dying here. It's really not looking very good for golden. Yebem is yebemming. And, yeah, the CV... where's it going? Yeah. Red has definitely won this game. What more is there to say? I mean, you could bring this back in. That guy's never going to make it, is he? Ah, you tried to unload him. You saw the thing change there, but it was just a bit too late. Yeah. This game is very over. I'm just going to see how long's left. Yeah, exactly. So, what is there to say? Yeah, Ben, playing the tighter game, playing the better game, let's face it. But also understanding his division better, understanding his divisional strengths and weaknesses. He knows he gets a lot of AA, so he brings a lot of AA. He knows 24th gets a lot of planes, so he brings a lot of AA. He knows that he does not have the advantage in the open, so he attacks in the closed area. Golden, not really understanding that to such a great extent. He had the advantage in the open, but he did not attack in the open here. He sort of attacked kind of around here, sort of. Well, it was like here, right? Not really using his advantages. I did like the usage of the artillery to kill the 2-man squads. That was good. Artillery before an attack is very useful. And yeah, that's all she wrote. So Yebem taking the title. It just comes up with me. It's not me. Taking the title as the Division 3 champion. And Golden Panzer, you know, credit to him. So if you want to know, this is the level of players that are playing in the league. This guy made it to the finals. I'm not saying he's a bad player. He's better than most players. But if you think that you're at about this level, if you've got about 200 ranked games, then you should enter the league. Why not? You already watch Hippie videos. That puts you a step ahead of everybody else. Nice. Mr. Moves, putting the moves on 24th. This Ito did good work. Yeah, an interesting game. Good usage of the CV tank to get some kills. An interesting game. Leave a comment. GG.